When most people think of Germany, they think of technology, discipline, and a strong economy. But today, we are going to look at it from a completely different angle. We will talk about a real power that quietly rules within Germany's nature. Throughout this video, we examine one of Germany's most powerful animals, the wolf, the strategic master of the wild. And I need to say this beforehand. By the end of this video, you will have a very different perspective on wolves. Most people see the wolf as just a predator. But the truth is, the wolf is not only powerful, it is also incredibly intelligent and highly organized. There is even an expression you may know, to be like a wolf. This expression is used to describe someone experienced and intelligent like a wolf. So why the wolf? Why do we choose it as one of Germany's most powerful animals? Because power is not just physical. The concept of power is a combination of strategy, endurance, and adaptation. And the wolf represents all three perfectly. In fact, its ability to adapt is at such a high level that especially in recent years, its population has started to grow again. This may actually be one of the clearest examples of nature restoring its own balance. But the intelligence and experience of wolves also play a role in this. I think now we can move on to its physical features. But first, I need to tell you this. I have been creating content on this channel for a while, and for us to climb higher in the algorithm, it is very important that you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Also, if you watch the entire video, it will help take the channel to the next level. Let's continue. When we look at the physical features of a wolf, the first thing that stands out is its endurance. An average wolf can travel more than 50 kilometers in a single night. This is a distance most animals could not even imagine. But what is truly impressive is that it can cover this distance while hunting, staying constantly alert. It is somewhat like detectives covering long distances while tracking something. But the most interesting part starts here. Wolves do not hunt alone. They move as a team, and this team is one of the most well-organized systems in nature. Every wolf has a role within the pack. We can roughly talk about three main roles: the leader, the hunter, and the tracker. They all work with perfect coordination. This turns them into almost flawless hunters in the forests of Germany. Imagine a group of wolves tracking their prey. For hours, even days, they follow patiently. And when the right moment comes, they attack without wasting any energy. This is not just power. This is strategic intelligence. The return of wolves in Germany is actually a very important development for scientists as well, because wolves play a balancing role in the ecosystem by keeping the populations of animals like deer and wild boar under control. They help maintain the balance of nature. So wolves are not just hunters, they are also the unseen regulators of the natural world. And perhaps the most surprising fact is this: wolves do not hunt unnecessarily. They have to conserve their energy. Every hunt is a fight for survival. This makes them one of the most efficient predators in nature. When you hear concepts like physical strength, endurance, and strategic teamwork, you probably think of a highly successful athlete or a leader. But the one that embodies all of this is an animal that has been part of our tales and stories for years: the wolf. When you combine all of these traits in a single animal, what do you get? A wolf that silently roams the forests of Germany, yet represents one of the most powerful systems in nature. But this is just the beginning, because a wolf's strength is not limited to its hunting ability. What you are about to see will show why they are not the most feared creatures of nature. But among the most respected to understand the strength of wolves, it is not enough to look only at their physical traits. What truly makes the difference is their social structure. Because wolves do not act individually, they operate with collective strength. And this structure makes them one of the most effective predators in Germany. When you think of a wolf pack, you are actually looking at a small family. The pack usually consists of a leading pair and their offspring. But this idea of leadership is not about dominance in the way most people think. On the contrary, leader wolves are the ones who protect, guide, and ensure the survival of the pack. So here, power is not pressure, it is responsibility. And here is a detail most people do not know. Wolves are incredibly advanced when it comes to communication. Their howls are not just sounds. These sounds are sometimes used to signal location, sometimes to warn of danger, and to keep the pack together. Every howl is actually a message. This makes their coordination almost flawless. We can compare this howling to the way humans communicate. The only difference is that they communicate through the tone of their howls. While we use more complex words thanks to our language, observations made in the forests of Germany clearly show how wolves divide roles during a hunt. Some wolves tire out the prey, some change its direction, and others make the final move. This is not a coincidence. This is a planned strategy. And this strategy makes them even more effective than animals that are strong on their own. But one of the most surprising points is this: wolves do not take unnecessary risks. If a prey is too dangerous, they know how to retreat. This is a rare behavior in nature, because most predators attack when they see an opportunity. Wolves, however, analyze, evaluate, and wait for the right moment. This shows us something important. Real power is not just about attacking, it is about knowing when not to attack. In fact, this effect often spreads to other animals as well. As we mentioned earlier, with the return of wolves in Germany, scientists have noticed an interesting change. In areas where wolves are present, the behavior of deer has changed. They have started to move more cautiously and spend less time in certain areas. This has helped vegetation recover, so the presence of a wolf affects not only its own species, but the entire ecosystem. This effect is so strong that in the scientific world it is called a trophic cascade. Simply put, the presence of a predator creates a chain reaction that changes all of nature. And here's a very important detail. Wolves do not harm nature. On the contrary, they balance it. Without them, some animal species increase uncontrollably, and this damages the ecosystem. So wolves are actually an unseen balancing force, a creature that moves silently, hunts together, communicates, analyzes risks, and affects the entire ecosystem. This is not just an animal. This is one of the most advanced systems in nature. The survival abilities of wolves make them not only powerful, but also almost an unbeatable species. And in the next section, we will examine their incredible ability to adapt and their complex relationship with humans. Now we come to the most critical point in understanding the true power of wolves' adaptation. Because the most important factor that determines how strong an animal is how quickly it can adapt to changing conditions. And in this regard, wolves are truly masters in Germany's nature. In the past, wolves in Germany were almost completely wiped out. Due to human activity, hunting, and habitat loss, this species could not be observed for many years. But then something unexpected happened. Wolves returned, and this return became one of the most striking examples of how resilient nature can be. Today, wolves are increasing in number again in Germany. But this is not just about numbers. What really matters is that they have learned to live, not against humans, but alongside them. This is a rare level of adaptation in nature. Wolves can now survive not only in wild forests, but also near agricultural areas, and even relatively close to human settlements. But there is an important point here. Wolves avoid humans as much as possible. Their main priority is survival, not conflict. This sets them apart from many other predators. Because wolves are not aggressive, they are calculated. They do not take unnecessary risks. They change their behavior to avoid encounters with humans. This is one of the clearest signs of their intelligence and adaptability. Another surprising fact is this: wolves act with memory. They learn the dangers in a region and remember that information for a long time. This significantly increases their chances of survival. So a wolf does not just live in the moment, it acts based on past experience. Now let's put all the pieces together: endurance, strategy, teamwork, communication, and adaptation. When all of these come together, what emerges is not just a powerful animal, but one of the most effective systems in nature. And perhaps the most important point is this: wolves are the unseen heroes that maintain the balance of nature. Without them, the ecosystem breaks down. But with their presence, nature reshapes itself, finds balance, and grows stronger. That is why, when choosing the most powerful animal in Germany, the issue is not just physical strength. The real matter is intelligence, strategy, and harmony with nature. And when we consider all of these traits together, the wolf fully deserves this title. If you enjoy this type of content, we will continue exploring the most powerful animals of different countries in this series. Because in the nature of every country, there are incredible stories waiting to be discovered. And in the next video, I will be here with a choice that will surprise you again. If you have watched until this point and still have not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so we can explore new topics together in the next video.